Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. It's an Australian thing. It's a Socceroos thing. I'm RJ. I'm joined by Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are we this afternoon, lads?
On top of the world, man. On top of the world. What a buzz this morning. The energy, man, around the country. It's coming home, boys. It's coming home.
I love it.
Ken Ove. Robbie, how you going, my man?
Mate, the Red Devil must feel like I feel like the red-eyed devil right now, mate. Been up since 1:30, big day at work. Just got out of the show and now to come back and roll it all out with you guys, mate. What a day, but just buzzing. Such a historic day in Australian football history, mate. And I'm just glad we're around to witness it all.
100%. Like the thousands of us, I was going to say, Scott, we all stayed up to get Leckie'S, some would say, because it was that kind of day. It's record-making, record-breaking. But sorry to cut you off, man. I know you're buzzing just like myself.
No, just want to acknowledge all the legends in the live chat. If you're new to It's a Football Thing, this is your opportunity to show us some love. We'll show you plenty of it by hitting that subscribe button, hitting a like on the video, coming back, leaving a comment. Let's go through and just quickly say hello to some of the legends here. Tom from the United Pubcast, you know him, you love him. He's been here plenty of times. Board chair from the Football Capital. Make sure you check his stuff out too. He's doing a madness. We got Chris in the house. We got Declared here. It's a World Cup thing now. You better believe it, baby. We got Trey in here as well. Nice to see you, Trey. Make sure you hit that sub button, brother. The concierge is here. There's a comment I'm not going to read out. And Argentina should be worried, and Shano, of course. Boys, we're going to rip right into it. Let's go into the lineup. Obviously, it was what I predicted. I'd kind of thought this was how we'd line up. Before the game, I was thinking maybe it would have been good because I anticipated we'd probably sit deep, let Denmark dictate some of the play, but try and hit them on the counter. So I thought guys like Mobile, Qual might feature a bit more for that pace on the counter. But again, and a bit of a theme, Graham Arnold, you can't say he doesn't know what he's doing because he's navigated us through a very tough group with 2 wins and 1 loss, and that loss was to France, so no shame. Were you happy with the lineup, boys, and just generally your views on the tactics this morning, Robbie?
Yeah, look, again, I think after the first 2 games, we kind of noticed that I think he's got his core 11 there. He's obviously just right backs changed a few times, and it's pretty much been if the boys are fit and ready to go from the turnaround, they're starting at the moment, and I kind of like it, mate, because sometimes what's been working for us, especially coming off the back of the Tunisia win, we've gone out and we haven't really. He said, "I want to stay to our game," and that's I think exactly what he's done. He's staying to the Australia game and played how he wanted to play. And look, it wasn't an amazing thing. We like for a good chunk of that first half, we just absorbed that pressure. And even though Denmark were kind of peppering us, they never had a lot of clear-cut chances. We have to say they did have a lot of the ball, and we did when we got it turned it over quite a bit. But, that final 10 minutes of the half, that's when I feel like we kind of just eased back down and that's when we started working into the game. 10 minutes to go before halftime. And like we actually said, okay, a few passes here and there, a couple little counter attacks. And then, mate, straight after halftime is when I really felt like we're in this game, mate, straight off the kickoff.
RJ, Robbie mentioned the possession there. We had 31% of the possession. But we had 4 shots on target to Denmark's 3 shots on target. We had 1 shot off target. Denmark had 6. So considering the possession differential, not too bad when you look at the shots on target. What did you make about the play? Do you think Graham Arnold got it tactically spot on this morning? Is that how you expected them to play?
Well, I think he did because he had the insider knowledge knowing that Denmark had to go out and get the win. So we knew the game plan wasn't to try to feel them out to see if they're going to be conservative. We knew that they were going to be more ambitious than what they would have ordinarily been because it was make or break for them. So I think that somewhat plays into helping analyze the type of opportunities we have and more importantly, just where we need to protect ourselves. But like you said, and we've said on this show many times, possession without purpose, penetration and precision is just that. It's actually quite pointless. So I think the way in which we're able to absorb it, the shots on target is actually a more informative statistic, and the amount of shots that they had off target speaks to just how ineffective they were with the chances that they create. But I think part of the reason why that they were inefficient with their chances is because of the incredible off-the-ball work and the pressure we put them under. So absolutely got to give props to Graham Arnold, who has received his fair amount of criticism over the years, rightly or wrongly. But we all like to praise Gareth Southgate because of his tournament football expertise. You've got to say Graham Arnold, record-making, back-to-back wins for the first time, and the first Australian manager to qualify Australia outside of the group stages. So it's an unbelievable achievement, no matter which way you look at it.
Spot on. And look, what do you think, boys? Quick fire. December 1st, St. Graham's Day. What do you reckon, Robbie? Is it a football thing?
100%, man. I was listening to his press conference yesterday, and one of the guys actually bring up the 31st of November or something, and he said that was the worst day of his career. I think that was all the way back in like when he was playing for Australia, when they failed to qualify against Iran. So just a nice little, the next day, it's like one of the greatest days in Australian football. So it's a nice little touch there.
Yeah. RJ, what do you reckon? Should we be getting a public holiday, mate?
Absolutely. Legendary performance. That's collective Aussie DNA right there. 100% it's got to be a public holiday.
Spot on. And I mean, looking at football holistically, the scenes we saw this morning, Sydney finally coming to the party. Well done, Sydney. About time you wake up. You've only had 3 games that you missed, for goodness sake. That's not a football thing. But the scenes from Fed Square, like, it's hard to argue. I know we've got the rivalry with Melbourne. I see Melbourne as the footballing capital of this country. And scenes like that in Fed Square, absolutely insane, and could only be good for the game, because you'd hope that the takeaway from this is that people watching, getting caught up in this hype of seeing the beautiful game, will then come back and maybe help support and nurture our domestic, maybe not as beautiful game, but our domestic game, because it's like a plant. The more you water it, the more it'll grow. But let's talk about some individual players, boys. Let's talk about individual players. And if you want to talk about the scenes from Fed Square, go for gold. There's a few comments in the chat here from the concierge. Didn't think I would be saying Leckie'S an Aussie hero in 2022, but fair play. We'll talk about him in a moment. Shano saying, I've given Bajic a moist slack over the years, but Bajic has been one of our better players.
Bajic was really good today, I have to say.
Hard to argue with that. The concierge saying Harry Suter, future PL. I would take him at Arsenal. I don't think he knocks Saliba or Gabriel out, but I would take him as my backup. That's for sure.
I don't think that's a crazy one. He was just about to sign with Everton before he done his ACL last year. So, look, I think for all these clubs looking at the performance on the world stage right now, they're only going to say that we're back in for this guy eventually.
Yeah, I'll speak to Frank about that, see if he can go to Everton.
Would you have him at Chelsea, RJ?
At the moment, sure, because of his trajectory, his physicality, he's actually a very intelligent player. You saw that his stats today. It's not necessarily you think he's a big guy, he's just going to out-jump everybody. In fact, he lost a couple of duels, and that's because he's still recovering to an extent. But his positioning and his ability to not be concerned about getting re-injured, I think, just says that this guy's got a very big promising future.
Spot on. Look, let's talk about some key players and your man of the match, boys. Obviously, the moment Leckie put that ball in, I know you said, Robbie, after the last match, that you're all about the moments, and that's why you gave Juki man of the match. Do you have the same thinking from this one? Is Leckie your man of the match?
Look, I'm not going to say Leckie for this one here. And look, he mightn't have been the man of the match, the guy kind of I'm highlighting. But for me, Bacchus for me, mate. I thought when he came into the game, I honestly thought that's when we really kind of got our foot on the ball a little bit, and he was playing out of position, man. He took McGree off, trying to give a little bit of support to Mitch Duke, who, again, put a mad dog shift in there, mate. Chasing down 3 games in a row, this guy, the oldest guy in the team, chasing everything down, pressing, copping it. Another massive performance from Mitchy Duke there. But, yeah, I think Bacchus was really, really underrated when he came on, how good his performance was. Again, there was situations when he was getting the ball and there was just no support, and he would draw a foul just to waste a bit of time and get a free kick. Just really composed for someone really young. And again, someone that's come out of the A-League and has moved to Europe now and really reaping rewards. So for me, he was a massive key to the performance in the second half.
RJ, who's your man of the match? Plenty of love for backers.
Oh, yeah. And well said, Robbie. But look, to me, I know a lot of the win was built on that whole off-the-ball work and the defensive solidity we showed. But I am going to give it to the man of the moment, Leckie, and not just because of that incredible goal and finish, but again, he was someone like Duke. They were relentless off the ball. And why I'm giving it to him is not only did he run himself into the ground, but he still had the sense of awareness, the ability, the composure to finish it. There's no way to overemphasize just how important and how difficult that goal was, given all of those circumstances.
For me, I'm going Leckie as well. I've got the Rob thinking from last week. That
magic
moment. Because I genuinely, and I've done this now after the last two games, I genuinely didn't see how he'd score against Denmark. Like I don't, for all the strength in our defense, I do worry a bit about our attack. But the way Leckie took that goal, the footwork, the way he turned his man. It was just brilliant. I guess that brings me just quickly onto this point from Tom. What on earth happened to Denmark this tournament? Tom had them topping the group. I know you had them going.
I had them topping the group. Yep. I had big raps on them. They didn't turn up. They did flop because again they've got a decent team. Like I said, they're not a superstar team. They've got a very good team. They were Euro semi-finalists last year. They're a very professional team. They're a unit, and mate, that's it. It goes to show how much for Australia to get, on equal points with France and get through. I think it's just a massive accomplishment for Australia, mate. Again, not only did we all went in with this game saying we all said we think we can get a result, and therefore we fought a draw. Lucky in the end, we didn't have the draw. And we actually got this win because it would have been heartbreaking going out on a draw after all that, but. Mate, the counter-attack was you go back and watch that. The counter-attack was great. From our own half, from Harry Suter winning the ball in our penalty box, spreading it out. Beautiful pass from McGree to Leckie. Mate, he had a lot to do, mate, to go through with the ball, again, after pressing all game. Again, on his weak foot with a beautiful finish in the bottom corner. Mate, that'll go down as one of the special goals when we talk about Timmy Cahill against the Dutch. When we talk about Aloisi's penalty, this is going to be talked about for a long time again with Mitch Duke's header last week. These are big goals for Australia.
100%. RJ, before we move on to obviously talking about our next match, Leo Messi's Argentina, because tell you what, you wanted a blockbuster showdown. We've got one. Argentina, Messi's, you would think, last World Cup. Mate, I would absolutely love to see Australia knock out Argentina and end Messi's international career. But let's kind of look ahead to this fixture. We know it's going to be a really tough match. We know that we are the underdogs. We know that Argentina are technically better. They're
better in every way. Let's be honest. They're better in every way.
They've got players who have played at the highest levels. This is really David versus Goliath. But you know what? I didn't think we beat Tunisia. We did. I didn't think we beat Denmark. We did. So I'm actually going into this and I'm thinking, who the hell knows what will happen? I don't see us getting humbled. I don't see us getting the same kind of scoreline as we did against France. I think it will be more tense. It's elimination football. No one will want to make a mistake. But I think there's only going to be a goal or two in it, to be honest. So it's going to be tense. Do you think this could blow out, RJ? Do you think the Messi magic might just be a bit too much for us to handle?
Yeah, well, let's speak about them just quickly because they had a very good victory this morning. Poland had nothing. They absolutely took them to town and could have got a lot uglier had that penalty not been saved, which I'm actually quite happy he did save it because I was a little bit dirty that they gave it because I didn't think it was a penalty. So I'm kind of glad he didn't score because it would have been the wrong headline. But Poland were totally outplayed, and I didn't expect them to be completely humbled the way they were. Argentina, we've been very critical of them based on their first two games, but I tell you what, they came out on fire. If they play like that, it gives me a lot to be concerned about, just because how resilient can we be given just how much we've already output for the first 3 games. Like, I think at some point we're running on empty, and only passion can take you so far. So look, it's going to be a really difficult one, but Argentina's got all the expectation. You know, there's no pressure on Australia. So everything from here on in is a bonus. Messi's got a lot of pressure. Di Maria's got a lot of pressure. All of these superstars, the fans haven't even heard of any of Australia's players. They said it after the game. So everybody's already talking about, who's going to verse Argentina in the quarterfinals. Nobody's giving Australia a chance. That could work psychologically to our advantage. So if anything, Australia's just got to make sure they stay in the grind, ultimate concentration, and really just use their physicality to try to observe it all and hit them on the break, similarly to what we did against Denmark. So as they say, you never know until the fat lady sings.
There you go. Boys, just a little bit of breaking news. We do have confirmed, and I'm going to share my screen. Give me a tick. We do have something confirmed here. For those of you in Sydney, Darling Harbour, Tumbalong Park, free public transport. They're going to light the Opera House sails. That's the watch site for Sydney. So it would be great for there to be some scenes. It would be absolutely great to be some scenes. It'll be open from 5:30 a.m. So Darling Harbour, Tumbalong Park. Hopefully it goes off. We just need to show these guys that the country's behind them. We're right behind them, and we want there to be a positive flow-on effect from this World Cup run. We can't do what we did after 2006 and just rest on our laurels and think, great. We need to now get some momentum. But I want to come to you, Robbie. You watch a lot of football. You're our international football correspondent. Mate, tell me we have a chance against Argentina.
Look, I'm definitely living off the hype from this morning. And again, I'm not scared of this game at all. And that's not being disrespectful to Argentina. It's just I think we've already exceeded our expectations for this World Cup. Like I said, I had a very low bar, and that's as low as I didn't think we're gonna. If we scored a goal from open play, I was happy with that.
You said
not only did we get goals, we got not only just a point, we got points, and we're into the round of 16. For me, again, I think this is legendary what this team's done. And again, we go there with no pressure. And the way that this team as well, you can see that they're united as a team and everyone's got their back. Again, like RJ said, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think there's going to be much training. This is going to be just recovery, rest and recovery for 2 days. We're playing.
We've got a couple of days, again. Rob, and Argentina have less.
Yep. So that's one thing. But again, it's hard. Does he try and milk again for another hour the same team, or does he go with something completely different with fresh legs, which we haven't really used a lot of? But look, this could be over. We have to be real, If Argentina score the first goal, it could be 4-0. And I'm not even going to take it as a humbling. I just think this is what Australia have been aiming for a long, long time, to get to a pinnacle where we're in a knockout competition game against Argentina, one of the best countries in the world, and is a globally recognized. Everyone will be tuning into this game. Argentinians are crazy. This will be worldwide. So for me, we've got nothing to lose, and they've got everything to lose. So I'd love to get a result. I'd love it to go down as penalty shootouts, man, and Mr. Gray Riggle steps up and saves a messy penalty, something like that. But honestly, we've got no shame if we did get humbled in this game. I think we've already done a great job, and it's historic what they've done.
100%, boys. And look, I think you both summed it up beautifully, that we have, for me, again, exceeded expectations. I think Graham Arnold has got, not we, because I didn't do anything, but I think Arnie's got the absolute most out of this squad in getting out of the group. Did he get the most out of this squad in the qualifiers? No. Or in the time before that? No. But here he has, and this is what matters. So let's just go and give a good account of ourselves. Let's fight. If we get knocked out, we get knocked out. I'm not.
That's it.
I won't be shedding any tears that we've been knocked out by Argentina. They're a quality footballing nation, and we've just got to go and try our best.
I just think it's just a big different challenge, this one. That's what I'm more curious about, because with Denmark and Tunisia, we knew that they were going to be physical. We knew they had height, so there's going to be long balls in the box. These guys are going to try and play for us. They're technical. They've got pace on the wings. They're not going to go long balls. They haven't got big strikers up front they're going to lob a ball into. So that's what I mean. It's going to be very interesting how Australia set up, the formation. And like I said, we're going to have to just try and contain and counter for me.
Spot on. All right, boys, as we look to wrap this up, and obviously our next stream will be when we look forward to all of the knockout fixtures once that's all confirmed. I just want to kind of ask you, almost as a quick fire, what is it? Because, look, we're not winning the World Cup. I would love us to. Please, prove me wrong. We know that we're coming up against Argentina, and the probability says we'll probably get eliminated. If that's the case and we get knocked out, what's your hope that we can take back from this World Cup looking forward? RJ?
I'll probably give me a sec to reflect. I reckon Rob has a better answer already.
Yeah, look, I think what you said before, I think taking the casuals that have come out and try and, like I said, sprinkle that over the domestic league. I think that's the biggest thing. Arnie's been saying it in every single one of his press conferences that I've had to get this team and I had to like pretty much take on the Socceroos to put into this team because I had no one left. And that's why we've had to go out and get people like Harry Suter and neutralize players because the grassroots up is just, for a long time, it's been in shambles. So they really need to pump a lot of money into football. We need to try and win over the fans. And just something as simple as all these big countries have a home of football. Like you go to England, they've got, St. James's Park, whatever over there. Every single person has their own home. It'd be nice if Australia could pump enough money for us to get our own home, training facilities. We haven't got AIS anymore. So something like that to continue to build on this, because this is a massive success again.
Mate, it's a shame Paul's not watching. He would have been buzzing with you calling St. James's Park.
What's it called?
I would probably argue it's Wembley, my friend.
No. It's cool. There is a training facility. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, you're talking about training facility. Okay, yeah. Look, I like what you're saying, though, Rob. You're talking about infrastructure, which would be a good thing. What about you, RJ?
Yeah, infrastructure. I think Graham Arnold rightfully came out and said this is just, we run the risk that this is a distraction. This is a flash in the pan. We need to be able to work on continuity and sustainability. How do we create the pipeline and make it bigger to allow young talent to actually flourish and thrive and not actually isolate them and lose them to other sports? Because we do have some quality now, but it's running at the risk that going forward for future generations, this is just a once-off and we'll forget about it and regress, which is really the problem for the long-term risk.
Yeah, look,
it's
from me,
St. George's Park too. Sorry, Borgie. I had to get it right.
That's fine. There you go. Look, from me, boys, it's pretty simple. I want bums on seats. I want to see more fans going to local games. I know it took me a while to come around. I've kind of fallen in and out of love with the A-League as it's gone on and as it's changed, but you want bums on seats. I'm hoping that some of this hype, some of this buzz transfers into more bums on seats of the league. And I'm also hoping that the media, who are now, of course, Aussie media, who give us a very hard time, they're all trying to capitalise and get involved on the
100%.
action. I just hope they kind of see that there's a lot of potential in this game, that, like, back it a little bit. You don't need to constantly put the boot in.
Even some neutrality, Scott. Like, don't have to absolutely bash us up, but just keep us on level pegging. That's all we ask for.
And we can continue. We've got a perfect opportunity. We've got the Women's World Cup in 6 months in Australia. We should be moving this, keeping the snowball effect happening, make it big so we can get scenes like this for the Matildas in a few months' time.
100%. Look, boys, it's been a fun stream. We've unpacked that result. I know we're all still buzzing, maybe a little tired. I had a can of V for the first time in maybe about 10 years. So I'm about to fly around the room. But it's been a blast. We'll come back at some point to talk about the knockout fixtures once they're all confirmed, but there's still plenty of World Cup action to come. Come back to this video. Do us a favor. Come back when it's not live anymore. Leave a comment with your score prediction. That helps the algorithm to get our content seen. Smash that sub button. Put a like on. And make sure you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, gents. The Socceroos are through to the round of 16. Love it. Absolutely love it. Take care, everyone.
Ciao. Go to the Socceroos.